upon a time, there was a rich guy whose wife was dying. Aren't you glad we started on a happy note? Before she died, she told her daughter Ella to always be good. Apparently, the daughter was a real brat. Otherwise, why would her mother need to ask her this? After her mother's death, Ella did nothing all day except visit her mom's grave and cry. The rich man soon remarried. Apparently, he wasn't overly heartbroken over his wife's death. His new wife had 2 daughters, who were beautiful but cruel. So basically, Paris Hilton. Her new stepsisters and stepmother treated Ella like dirt, and her father not only allowed them to do that, he actually participated in the abuse. Apparently, he didn't love either his first wife or his daughter. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Ella had to endure the hardship of having her pretty clothes taken away and being forced to work as a kitchen maid. Honestly, Ella's just annoyed that she had to do chores. For some reason, Ella slept on the hearth. Supposedly, it's because she had no bed to sleep in. But nowhere in the story does it ever mention that her family took away her bed. Considering Ella's the type of person who spends all day crying, I'm thinking she is either extremely melodramatic or she has major psychological issues. Ella never bothered to wash her face or hands after lying in the ashes of the hearth. When her new family saw her dirty face, they decided to start calling her Cinderella. And yes, her dad called her this too. But who are we to judge? We've been calling her Cinderella for centuries. Ella wasn't completely neglected. Her father offered to bring all 3 daughters home presents from the fair. The stepsisters asked for normal material objects. Cinderella wanted a stick. But not any old ordinary stick. Nope. She wanted a stick that had hit her father's hat. That's right. She wanted an object that had actually assaulted her father. Isn't that sweet? Apparently, her father actually did get struck by a stick because he brought Cinderella home exactly what she asked for. She took her stick and planted it by her mother's grave, which she still visited 3 times a day. I'm sorry, but if she has time to cry at her mom's grave 3 times a day, she isn't doing a lot of work at home. Now, since this is a fairy tale, there has to be an opportunity to marry a rich husband. In our story, the king announced that there would be a 3-day festival. All the beautiful young women in the kingdom were invited so that the prince could choose a bride. Yep, nothing like speed dating in front of your parents. The stepsisters were thrilled to get their invitations. Cinderella did not get one, but that didn't stop her from nagging her stepmother about going to the festival. In an attempt to get Cinderella off her back, the stepmother told her she could go to the festival, but only if she picked up hundreds of lentils from the ashes in less than 2 hours. Now, the stepmother only made this deal because she assumed the task was impossible. However, Cinderella was apparently some kind of mutant that could control birds. She called all the birds from the woods into the kitchen and had them do the work for her. That doesn't sound very sanitary, does it? Maybe that's how she could visit her mom's grave 3 times a day. She just made all her bird minions do all her work for her. Cinderella presented the lentils covered in ash and bird spit to her stepmother. But in a twist that could be seen a mile away, the stepmother still refused to let Cinderella go to the festival. Although, since Cinderella apparently did not have an invitation, I have to side with the stepmother in this. Once her family had left for the festival, Cinderella ran off to her mother's grave. Her bird minions had procured a beautiful dress and matching shoes. Cinderella must have actually washed her face for once, because no one recognized her, not even her own family. The prince danced with her all day and refused to let anyone else take her hand. He also refused to let her out of his sight, and insisted on walking her home. This sounds like the beginning of a Lifetime movie about a rich guy stalking his poor ex-girlfriend. Cinderella was apparently creeped out by him too, because as soon as she got a chance, she ran away from him and climbed up into a pigeon house. Seriously, I didn't make that up. To make matters worse, the stalker prince had the pigeon house cut down. Luckily, he must be nearsighted as well as clingy because Cinderella was able to climb out of it and get away without him noticing. Now, after having to hide in a glorified birdhouse from the prince, you would think Cinderella would decide to skip the rest of the festival. But no, she went back again, and, as you would expect, again and again. The prince got uncomfortably possessive. On night number 2, Cinderella had to climb into a tree to escape him. On the 3rd night, the prince placed pitch on the castle steps in an attempt to keep Cinderella from escaping again. Sure enough, Cinderella's golden shoe got stuck in the pitch, and I'm willing to bet she wasn't the only poor soul trapped on those steps. Cinderella only managed to escape this crazy prince by taking off one of her shoes and leaving it on the steps. The prince found Cinderella's golden shoe on the steps. By the way, where did her bird minions find a golden shoe? Anyways, the prince announced he would marry the woman who fit that shoe. Good thing he picked up the right shoe. Considering the crowd of people at the festival, that shoe could have belonged to pretty much anyone. When the eldest stepsister got a chance to try on the shoe, she discovered that her big toe wouldn't fit. Her mother told her to chop off her toe because queens didn't need to walk. That's right, queens don't need to walk. That sounds like an airtight argument to me. The elder stepsister chopped off her toe, which was enough to fool the nearsighted and obsessive prince. He placed her on his horse, and they rode off together. But Cinderella had her bird minions bring the prince's attention to the blood flowing out of the elder stepsister's shoe. Rather than provide medical assistance, he brought her home and let the younger stepsister try on the blood-filled shoe. In private, again. And shockingly, her heel didn't fit, so her mother had her cut it off. More children's stories need self-mutilation. Oh wait, no they don't! The prince was tricked again and rode off with the younger stepsister, only to have his attention drawn to the obvious by Cinderella's bird minions. When he returned the second stepsister, the prince asked the rich guy if he had any more daughters. Apparently the prince was very earnest in his search, or he was enjoying having all these girls mutilate themselves on his behalf. Whichever. Cinderella's father told the prince that he had no more daughters, just the little stunted girl Cinderella that his wife left behind. That's right. Cinderella's father just told the prince that Cinderella wasn't his daughter. I'm betting that Cinderella's mother had an affair and her husband found out about it. The prince insisted on meeting Cinderella and have her try on the bloody shoe. Cinderella was called for. However, before going out to meet the prince, she made sure to actually wash her face and hands. See? She didn't have to walk around covered in cinders. She tried on the shoe. It fit. The prince even managed to actually recognize the woman he danced with for 3 days straight, and they rode off together to start planning their wedding. When the big day arrived, Cinderella's stepsisters decided to walk with her to the church. As they did, Cinderella's bird minions pecked out their eyes. That's right, Cinderella had her bird minions attack and blind the stepsisters in front of a crowd that had just come to cheer on their new princess. Basically, Cinderella was letting the whole kingdom know that if anyone messed with her, they're going to get pecked. The end. Sweet dreams, everyone, and may your bird minions help make all your dreams come true through theft and brutal public assaults. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and share with your friends. Don't make me send my bird minions to poop on your car.